My name is Jalisa Panique, and I'd like to say thank you for stopping and clicking on my video. Initially, I did a stream about this on Twitch. I do stream every week, and that's where you'll really be able to have conversations with me, communicate with me on a normal live level. Again, I wanted to do a YouTube video initially, but it does take a lot more to do a YouTube video because you have to cut and edit and stuff like that. And usually I like to just do it that one time and then go. If I mess up, I just fix it in the moment, So that's why I ended up doing a stream. The stream is an hour and a half long, so I know that you guys would not be trying to sit through an hour and a half video trying to watch the stream and get all the full details. I did go into deep details in the stream. I showed pictures and stuff like that, and I told side stories and just the process overall. But I am here to actually just give the main key points of how I ended up moving to Houston from the Bronx in 30 days, okay? So stay tuned if you like to see how I did it. Initially, I wanted to move to Atlanta. I've done all this research for all these past few years on Atlanta, and I thought I was moving to Atlanta. I booked a flight to Atlanta last year so I can move and also I can see apartments and stuff like that, but I got so nervous and I canceled everything, and that's how I ended up visiting Houston in January this year. So I had a flight credit and I visited Houston twice actually. First time just to come, second time for business, okay? So it was cool, it was nice, and I still didn't have it in my head I'm gonna move to Houston. I just was okay, Houston was fun, I wanna go back, but I never thought I wanna move to Houston. So the reason why I got nervous to move to Atlanta is because I don't know anybody in Atlanta, and I didn't want to go out there and not have anybody to call in case I really, really needed to call somebody, and that just was not gonna work for me. And as far as Houston goes, I do know 2 people here. 2 people is not a lot, but 2 people is definitely better than no people. And one of my friends actually moved from New York last year to Houston alone, and he's been chilling, and that's who I stay with when I do visit Houston. I stayed with him the first week that I moved here, and I moved in on Friday. So I came here on December 3rd, and I moved in on December 10th. So, and the other person is my photographer. I met my photographer via Instagram, and I met my photographer about 3 years ago, and I was when I did visit, I did come visit and get to know them, get a feel of the type of person that they are and stuff like that, just see how they work. I've also just realized my photographer has been very, very dedicated to their work, and speaking to them on a friend level, it's okay, just knowing all the ins and outs of what they've been going through as a independent artist as well, or independent creative as well, and them not having a reliable or a consistent model, and then me feeling well, I need a consistent photographer and I need a consistent this and that. So it was kind of you know what, you go where your team is, you build your team and you get some work done. I've been connected with a producer that actually worked on a great ass album that I loved all year, and I don't know how the universe led me there, but I'm grateful. And he was he gave me a little bit more of a confirmation, yeah, wherever your team is, you go there and everything else will follow. So I'm all right, I'm going, all right? And that's why I ended up moving to Houston, main reasonings for moving to Houston. There were some side reasons, some other smaller reasons, or not as big, that I came out here. But those reasonings are definitely a lot more to unpack, and those details are actually on the Twitch stream. So if you want to get deep down into the details of whatever, you can definitely still click the link in my description box. I stream every week. Again, my videos will be there. You can watch me live, you can talk to me live, as well as you can just go back and watch the past broadcasts. So yeah, if you want to get into those details, the other reasons, the other bullcrap reasons, then you can go and watch the stream. And yeah, so now let's get into it. planning. Let's say I've been saying all year, like, yeah, I'm moving in November. My lease was gonna be up in November regardless. So I'm like, okay, I'm moving to Atlanta in November. I'm moving in November. But honestly, like, I didn't really make any moves to actually like move, you know, like I didn't really make or take any steps to really be moving in November. I was really just living my life, paying my bills and doing what I gotta do, going to work. And again, I started off the year pretty strong. I went on a bunch of trips. I did a lot of stuff. I released a lot of music. I dropped videos, you know, like I was busy. And then like towards the end of the year, I started like feeling like things were slowing down, and I really did not like that. So I just started, you know, before I get into a depression mode, because it's so easy for me to just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Or like, I just, you know, fall off for a little bit. I decided, you know what, let me do something that's going to force myself to make sure that I get whatever I need to get done. So what I did was, before I did anything, I found my apartment. I went on Zillow, I went on apartments.com, and I just was searching. Again, I do have 2 friends that live here. So I was able to send them like, oh, go see this place for me in person. Call me on FaceTime, XYZ. You know, I was able to see it and ask questions and stuff like that. So I found my place. I got my lease signed like November 7th over like on the email. And then I decided, okay, now I got to figure out how I'm going to get there. Like, I know where I'm going now, but like, how am I going to get there? So I booked my flight. I booked my flight with Delta. Now, okay, wait, I forgot to tell you. Okay, so now for moving in, I had to pay a deposit of $565, but I did not have to pay the full deposit because there was a program that was available for the tenants, and I'm hearing that it's a common program and they accept anybody. It doesn't really matter. They help you pay for your security deposit, and they paid basically like $300 of my security deposit. So I only had to pay $200 something, which is cool, you know what I'm saying? In New York, you gotta pay 3.5 months altogether. So to only ask me for $565, I was like, all right, that's cool. And then like for them to offer me the program, it was even better. You know, there's rent specials and stuff like that. So I believe that I got a rent special. I got $300 off. My rent is around the $1,500 mark, you know, and to move in, I only had to pay $860. You know, that was cool. That was definitely cool. Like for first month, I only had to pay the $800. So that was great. I then had to get my flights, and I had a flight credit from July when I came from Aruba. Our plane, we were stuck in the plane, and that story is also on Twitch. So if you want to hear the reasons or what happened on the plane coming from Aruba, you can definitely click the link in my description box. But yeah, so they gave us a $50 flight credit or e-credit with Delta, and that's the same flight, like that's the same airline I ended up taking to Houston. So I bought me a one-way flight. It was initially like $130, and I paid $80 for the actual flight because of the e-credit that I had. And that was that. It was easy to book a flight. I mean, I've been booking flights, and again, it's not hard to find good flights. You do want to check multiple days. You want to check incognito, you know, Google Chrome incognito. You don't want to be surfing a Safari and then like recognizing the address and now like hiking up the prices and stuff like that. You gotta always go incognito when looking for flights or hotel stays and stuff like that. So definitely keep that in mind. Finding a job was my next thing to do. So I was going on Indeed, and really Indeed. Like I really usually just go on Indeed. I haven't had to look for a new job in over 5 years, maybe. I've been with my job for the longest. I've been with my company for the longest. I love my job. I was working at Twitch headquarters in New York City, and it was good. It was good. I was at Amazon headquarters before that for like 3 years, and I was at Twitch for like a year and a half, maybe 2. And I really did like it. I didn't want to have to leave my job, but then again, it was just like, okay, like I'm not going to get where I want to be by just working this job. Like I still have to do more for me. Like as Julie Supanique, I have to do more. So this is what I'm gonna do. I was doing a lot of interviews. What I can say is, you know, I work from home now. I ended up finally getting a job after all of these like fake interviews, and they weren't fake, but it was like a lot of jobs that I wasn't really trying to work, or like telemarketing or door-to-door stuff, and it just wasn't for me. I've never had to do that. I don't know how. Like, I mean, I don't find any interest in doing that either. So yeah, it was just really a lot of like me wasting my time. But I ended up finding another one. The hours are cool. I get to set my own schedule, and I like it. You know, it's cool for now, but I'm always striving for more. So I'm definitely going to be still looking for new jobs and stuff like that. But in the meantime, at least I can work on myself and work on my craft. I get to shoot whenever I want to. I get to wake up and shoot. I get to do whatever I want to do. And I get to live how I want to live. You know what I'm saying? So if you are looking for a job in Houston and you just got here and you do want to work from home, it's kind of hard to like travel around or whatever your situation is. You know, there are work from home jobs available. There's websites like Aston Carter, if you want to look into that. There's Kelly Connect. I think they're like all over too. Kelly Connect. You can look into that as well. Yeah, so you can look into those companies. I don't work for either of those companies, but I definitely was looking into those companies as well. And I do know people who do work for those companies, okay? So out here in Houston as well, or in Texas period, I think, they don't take both state and federal taxes. They only take federal. So that's kind of cool. You get to see more of your money from your check, and that's good, even though the pay is a lot lower than New York City. I can say in New York City, I've never had to take a pay cut in my whole, how many years I've been working now? I've been working since I was 16 years old, and I've never had to take a pay cut. I've always made more money. So I've made the most money I've ever made in my life right before I moved. And like I kind of like took a huge pay cut. Let's say like maybe like $9 pay cut. That's a lot for me. But again, the cost of living here is a lot cheaper. And again, like I'm living how I want to live, and I'll still see more of my money as long as I manage correctly and budget and stuff like that. For the most part, I'm okay. You know, I think I'll be fine. I'm always fine. And I always find my way around to getting to do what I need to do. The shipping of the boxes was probably the hardest part for me. That was the last thing I did. I had a party right before I had to ship out my boxes. And it was a party that I didn't really plan to have, or I didn't plan for it to be as eventful as it was. So it definitely cost me a lot. It cost me actually $777. And the details about that party is on my stream. If you don't watch nothing else, then I explained the whole entire process, I explained everything. I explained exactly how the hell that bill came out to $777 and why I had to deal with it and why I had to eat that and I had to pay for it. But yeah, you can definitely go and watch that. So again, that party already set me like back 100 years. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I thought I was ahead of the game. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Let's hope that the boxes don't cost me so much to ship out. And that's like my last step for real, like feeling like, okay, like I'm really leaving. My stuff is already on its way down to Houston. And I got like 3 large wardrobe boxes as well as some smaller like utility boxes. Now I shipped my boxes ground FedEx. The price of the boxes determines on how much the box actually weighs and how much value you want to put on the box, or how much insurance you want to put on the box that will like represent the value of the box. So 3 of my boxes weighed 123 pounds. I weigh 118 pounds, y'all. 3 of my boxes weighed 123 pounds. And I put $500 insurance on each of those boxes. And then my other 2 boxes, they weighed like 43 pounds and like 35 pounds. I put $100 insurance on one of the boxes because it was like books and stuff. And then I put $500 insurance on the other box because it was like my equipment, my music equipment. So when she first did everything, the price came out to $13.85, and I was like, what in the world is going on? Because when my friend moved last year, he had 6 of these big large wardrobe boxes, and they were definitely worth more than my boxes. and he only paid $700 and some change, he said. So why is my 3 boxes worth all this money, or why am I paying this amount of money, you know? The card, like the transaction didn't go through, and we were wondering. So she's like, call your bank, maybe they want to question if it's fraud or not. I called the bank and they be like, we don't have any transactions on this side, we didn't deny any transactions, so just try it again or something like that. So we had to do the whole process over, and she had to enter all of the credentials back into the system. She had to put the weight and everything back into the system, and when she did it again, it came out to $753.95. I remember that because I had to file a claim, and we'll talk about that a little. We'll talk a little bit about that, okay? Because I went into details on Twitch about that too. I'll show you guys like 2 pictures, maybe 1, okay? But yeah, so I was like, okay, like let's do this. Let me swipe my card. I hurried up and swiped my card. This time it declined, but it declined because of course the bank needed to verify the purchase. Called the bank, verified the purchase, and it went through. I paid $753.95 for the boxes to be shipped out. And after that, I felt super complete. Like, okay, now the last thing I need to do for real is get there safely and hope my boxes arrive to me safely. Okay, now my anxiety was like rising. I felt like, OMG, it's really happening. I don't want to wake up late for my flight. OMG, like all these things were just going through my head, like for real. That was basically how I actually like planned the process, and those are the actual prices of everything that I paid and the process that I went through. Again, I went to apartments.com, Zillow.com. I found my job, I think, on Indeed. It was a work from home job. Again, fill out those applications or go sign up for those companies that I told you guys about, as well as when you are shipping your boxes, they can't go over 150 pounds, or they won't ship it for you ground. I think it would have to go like freight, like on the plane, and I just wasn't trying to deal with that. I think that costs a lot more money. I'm not sure how that really works, but again, they cannot go over or they cannot exceed 150 pounds. None of the boxes, okay? So yeah. I started my job as soon as I got here and stayed with my friend the first week because he was already going to be in New York that week and then coming back to Houston on the 3rd. So that's why I ended up leaving on the 3rd, and my lease started on the 10th. But yeah, so my boxes got to my complex on the 5th, and when I say I came over here to see what my boxes were looking like and to make sure that everything was good, this is what I saw. Now, I'm like, I don't understand, like, but you know what? I paid for insurance and we're gonna file a claim and get our money back. I waited a week to actually go inside of the boxes. So when the boxes arrived on the 5th, I did not actually go inside of my boxes until maybe like the 12th. Like I moved in, I left the boxes in the living room for a few days, and then I actually started like unpacking my stuff. And listen, I didn't even show this part on Twitch because I recorded, like I streamed before I even went into this box. So I didn't even know that I was gonna find my stuff like this. So this is one thing that I saw when I went inside of my boxes. So my TV, I had that TV since 2018. That was definitely my first TV for my very first apartment. And of course, it wasn't gonna last me forever, but it should not have went out that way. I just feel like it was very tragic, and I wanted to be compensated for my loss. You know what I'm saying? So I filed a claim, and I actually got a response today. So this information is also not on my stream. I got a response today, and they told me that they are not going to approve my claim because I didn't have proof of value. Mind you, like again, I had that TV for so long, and then like some base and like some of my like actual like stuff that was passed down to me got broken, and they were not with it. They were just like, no, like we're not gonna give you your money back, or we're not gonna give you anything. And it's just like, well, what was the point of me even paying the extra money for insurance if you guys were not even gonna at least give me that, like give me what I paid for it? So whatever, I will be following up with them very soon. FedEx. But yeah, so anyways, that's basically literally like the process in a nutshell. Again, I made a whole stream that was a whole hour and a half, and that was me just really like chatting and finally like venting and talking to you guys on a normal level, like a personal level. And again, I was getting into many more details. If you do want to, hear all the story times and actually like, I did do like a mini apartment tour on Twitch as well. It wasn't an empty apartment tour because it wasn't empty anymore, and it wasn't a furnished apartment tour obviously because we're not there yet. But it was something. It was just something because they actually like tuned in to watch the stream and stayed the whole hour and a half while I talk. Usually like my streams will go that long, but we'll be making music, we'll be recording, we'll be singing, we'll be writing. I was just chatting. So I'll probably do like a 2-month update on everything, and maybe I'll do like a car shopping thing, and I'll do an updated story time as well as a furnished apartment tour. Again, I'll definitely be posting in between time and like giving small updates and keeping everyone posted on how things are going, but that will be on Twitch. I will be streaming on Twitch. I will be having Tell It Tuesdays on Twitch now at 10 p.m. So I used to stream on Thursdays, my music. We're gonna be starting a new schedule. Music Mondays at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Central Time, so 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I'll be having Tell It Tuesdays, obviously on Tuesdays, at 10 p.m. Central Time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're just gonna be talking, we're just gonna be venting, and again, I do wanna like just have more discussions and actually dedicate a day to having discussions. And that's why I'm trying to start streaming multiple days of the week, because when I do get into the music, we do get lost into it, and time does pass very fast. And then when I get into talking and running my mouth, time does pass very fast. So that's the new schedule. And again, you can stay updated with my Instagram. You can stay updated on my Twitch. I'm trying to use TikTok a little bit more. I'm just trying to be a lot more active all around. And I'll be having more music content more frequently because I'm able to shoot more frequently. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what's to come. I can't say overall, I do love the fact that I made the decision to move here. I can't wait to see how this next 6 months is gonna go, especially like consistently working. I'm looking forward to all of my blessings that are coming my way, and I'm very grateful that I was even able to make this choice, and I'm very grateful that I was even able to do this, like for real, on my own, like to really sit and say, I'm doing this and do it. To me, it just means a lot, and I'm very proud of myself. I'm usually not, people always say like, oh, we're proud of you, you're always doing so much, but like this probably was like my first time for real thinking like, okay, like I'm really doing something, like I'm really out here. So I feel good. I would like to mention that I definitely had to prep myself mentally. I had to really like shut down a bit. I stopped like indulging in a lot of things. I stopped like, running to my vices to make me feel better. And I've also like, just tried to keep a clear mind throughout the whole month that I was doing all of this. I definitely didn't tell too many people about what I was doing. I didn't want anybody to like make me change my mind or even like put bad things in my head, because I do kind of like start thinking crazy, like, oh no, like I don't want to do that and all these things. So again, you must like, I talked about like psychological isolation, and I do think it's mandatory. I will always think that it's mandatory. I feel like we all need that space to just come back to self. I do feel like we need that space to just be one with self and like understand what we really want in our thoughts, because a lot of times I'm all over the place and I change my mind, or I'll have all these different ideas, I'll have all these different thoughts, and then I won't know what to do first, I won't know how to execute, and I just won't do it at all. You know, because then I'll just get that overwhelming feeling and that anxiety, and I'll be like, all right, I'm just gonna leave it all alone, because it's just so much easier to just leave it alone. Okay, so we don't want to do that. And just learning to trust the process. And you cannot control everything. I do have this thing where I want to control the whole entire universe, when in reality the universe controls it all, and the universe does know best. You know what I'm saying? So just accepting my blessings, not questioning them, not wondering why things didn't go a certain way, and just believing that anything that I want, I can obtain. You know, regardless of how far it seems to be, I can get it, and I will get it, because I'm gonna go get it. You know, gotta put that work in, and it will definitely come back. I can guarantee that much. So I'm not where I want to be yet in life. However, I'm definitely taking huge ass steps to get there, and I'm feeling it now, because at first I'm like, these are baby steps, I'm not doing enough, and da 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 da, but this was a big enough step for me to say, let's go. You know, foot on the gas, ain't nothing really in my way at this point. I don't have any distractions, I'm good, like I'm chilling. So if you want to be updated on everything, you can definitely tune in on my Instagram page. If nothing else, tune in to my Tell It Tuesdays. We will be talking about a lot of things. I do like to actually converse with people. I will interact. I'm a normal person. I'm like that girl that you can call if you need to talk. You don't gotta know me, and I don't gotta know you. I'm just that person. I do understand a lot, and I do find joy in actually like healing. So if I can, I will. And if you want to, then reach out. Thank you all for clicking this video and tuning in. I hope I was able to help somebody who's moving away, even if it's not to Houston, just shipping boxes and stuff like that. Like, hopefully, if you needed that push to just go out and do whatever you want to do, hopefully this was enough push for you, all right? Because I be scared to do a lot of stuff, and I did this. So if I can do it, then you definitely can do it. Everyone have a blessed holiday. Kwanzaa's coming, and New Year's is coming, so you know it's time to start fresh and get it together, because life don't wait on nobody. If you don't put yourself first, then nobody else will. So peace out. My name is Jaleesa Quinique, and I'll see you soon.